if the Heat get KD, even at the expense of what the latest report is saying, right? They're saying that the Phoenix Suns right now, the Heat are the leaders in the clubhouse to get Kevin Durant's services. But they want the Heat to give up their budding, I don't know what you would call him. He's just a really good two-way defensive center, Kelel Ware, out of Indiana. His rookie season was great. It was terrible in the playoffs, but everybody on the Heat roster was against the Cavs. They're saying that the Heat would have to part ways with Kelel Ware. And you asked me in the break, C-Cat, as a Heat fan, do I believe they should part ways with him if it meant bringing in KD for the next 2-3 years to get the back end of his career? And after all of these years of pump faking, after all of these off seasons of drama and headlines and hope, but swings and misses, strikeouts, if you will, I think you got to go balls to the wall and get the home run. The only untouchable player on the Miami Heat should be Bam Adebayo. And if that means bringing Kelel Ware into the deal, maybe you save a couple other assets. But as great as Kelel Ware can ever be, he's never going to be what Kevin Durant would be for the next 2 years. And if you want to capitalize on the championship window with Bam Adebayo, you've got to get a guy that's ready to win now. Kelel Ware did not look like a guy that can help you win playoff series today. Obviously, KD can. The question is, what else would you have to give up around Kelel Ware? And the other question is, what else happens in the Eastern Conference? If Giannis leaves the Bucks but stays in the East, I would be begging for Khalil to come back because we ain't got none for that. Okay, bring him back.
And there's a lot made about health, and of course it is. You don't want to talk about Achilles injury. Of course, Kevin Durant came back from an Achilles injury.
Yeah.
And sure, it was a year off, didn't really bounce back as strong as he could, but I think that, don't forget the Brooklyn Nets were maybe an inch away from beating the eventual NBA champion.
Yeah.
Milwaukee Bucks in the East and winning a finals more than likely than not in that season with Kevin Durant leading the way and playing with the Phoenix Suns. He's been pretty darn good the past couple of years, has he not?
Come on, man. He's still been good. I told you I was like 20 years almost in a row, 25 points a game. Kevin Durant on this Heat team coached by Eric Spoelstra, surrounded by many of the key guys we have here today, that he would lead them through the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Would he be better than Jimmy Butler in his prime with the Heat?
That's such a tough answer. Here's what I will say is, as the Heat are currently constructed, he would be better for this team. Like, because they need the scoring threat. Like Jimmy in his prime, when Jimmy was doing it, he was able to put the ball in the rim. A lot of that had to do with the motion around him. The guys were actually hitting shots at a higher clip than they were in the regular season, so he had the spacing. He had the requisite spacing. But the issue with Jimmy Butler on the Heat a lot of times was that he and Bam did not play that well together because they both can't shoot the damn basketball. KD can stripe it. So I would rather have KD, yes, 100%. Today for sure, but I don't want to ever assume what KD can do at age 37, 38 would surpass playoff Jimmy. Oh, my God.
You get to an NBA Finals, right? That's, I guess, the bar that has been set by Jimmy Butler in the Butler-Miami Heat era, restoring the culture to the Miami Heat. And if you want a culture restorer, is Kevin Durant that guy? I think in the X's and O's he is, but in terms of the Heat culture, he's not.
He's not a culture setter. And that's the perfect place to be, is the place where they already have the culture. And you just join in and be a part of it. But he's not a culture setter. He's just the number one option on offense.
I guess so. But again, you get your prized free agent. Someone's got to set the culture.
No.
It's not like it's going to be teaching an old guy new tricks.
No, culture's there. That's what that is the whole point. That's why they got the jerseys. That's why they got the hash. The culture is there. If there's one thing we don't need anybody to do is set a culture in Miami. That's been done. We need somebody to come in there and put the ball through the rim.
But like you talked about how Heat culture was on life support before Jimmy Butler got there, and he resuscitated it and brought it back.
Yeah.
You don't feel the same way now about the perception from those within the organization?
No, I just think they're not good.
Okay.
I think the culture is still there. I think it's not good. And the reason why it was on life support was because they just were not good for multiple years in a row, and it starts to tear away at the fabric of what you've built.
It's just been 2 years in a row where they've been in the play-in.
Yeah.
Not very good.
And this is not good. But they've also, though, part of that has been Jimmy Butler induced.
That's true. Yeah, that has been players on the team not playing on the team.
Yes, and that's been the issue. And I think we don't have – if you can question a lot of things about Kevin Durant, his sensitivity, his leadership ability, the amount of time he spends on X or Twitter or whatever the hell you want to call it. Like, please, delete the account. One thing you can't question about KD is if he wants to play basketball, his will to win. Like, that dude does it. And you talked about coming back from injuries. Nobody comes back from injuries better than KD. Like, so I have no questions about whether or not he would come and give his all over there at the Kaseya Center. The question is, can the Heat retain enough value on the team to become a championship contender in the East? I was going to say remain one, but they ain't been one in a couple of years.